All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle one of the absolute biggest challenges in AI today. How do you actually take a clever agent prototype and turn it into a trusted production grade system that a business can bet on? This is what the AgentOps Playbook is all about. This quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Sure, anyone can spin up a cool demo in an afternoon, but building the deep-seated trust you need to let that agent talk to your real customers, to handle your real data, whoa, that's a completely different ballgame. So let's talk stakes. What really happens when a team gets super excited about a prototype and just rushes it out the door without building that critical layer of trust? Well, the consequences can be, let's just say, not pretty. And we're not talking about small glitches here. We're talking about real business-level failures. An agent getting tricked into literally giving your products away for free, a user finding some clever prompt that leaks your company's private data, or that classic nightmare, waking up to a monster of a cloud bill because an agent went haywire over the weekend. These aren't just bugs. They're the kind of events that can get a project killed. This number right here really puts the challenge into perspective. 80%. According to the source material, a staggering 80% of all the work isn't even about building the agent's core intelligence. Nope, it's spent on all the surrounding stuff. The infrastructure, the security, the validation, all the things needed to make it safe. 80%. That's the huge gap between a cool demo and a reliable product. Okay, so that brings us to the most important question. How do we close that gap? How do we systematically build the trust we need to go from a fragile prototype to a system that's truly resilient? Well, the answer isn't magic. It's a disciplined, structured approach. And it all starts here, in what we can call the Pre-Production Quality Gauntlet. I love that name. The whole point is to forge that trust through tough, automated processes before your agent ever gets near a real user. And the core principle of this gauntlet is this: evaluation as a quality gate. Now, this is so important. We're not just talking about traditional software tests. An agent can pass every single unit test and still fail in the wild by making a terrible decision. This is about evaluating its behavior, its reasoning, its actions, and its safety. It's a whole new layer of quality assurance. This quality gate gets enforced by an automated CI/CD pipeline that kind of works like a funnel. So first, before any code even gets merged, you run the fast checks in that critical quality evaluation. If it passes, it moves to the next stage, a staging environment for heavier testing. And only if it makes it through all of that does it get a final human sign-off for a safe, gradual rollout. You see? The whole process is designed to catch errors as early and cheaply as possible. And of course, a huge part of that pipeline is building security in from the very beginning. You can think of it like having 3 layers of defense. First, you write the agent's constitution, its core rules of the road. Then, you've got an enforcement layer that acts like a bouncer, filtering out malicious inputs and outputs. And finally, you've continuous assurance, where you are constantly red teaming and trying to break your own system to find weaknesses before anyone else does. Okay, so you've made it through the gauntlet. Your agent is live. Congratulations. But guess what? The job isn't over. In a lot of ways, it's just getting started. Now you have to manage this autonomous thing as it interacts with the real world. To manage this new reality, the best teams use a continuous loop. Observe, act, and evolve. You watch the agent's behavior in real time, you act immediately to keep things safe and stable, and then you use everything you've learned to evolve the system and make it better. Let's break that down. The observe part is built on 3 pillars. You have logs. That's the raw, moment-by-moment diary of every single thing that happened. Then you have traces, which are like the story that connects all those log entries, telling you why an agent went down a certain path. And finally, you have metrics, which is your high-level report card on how things are going. You absolutely need all 3 to get the full picture. Now, this brings up a really critical difference: acting versus evolving. Act is the system's immediate tactical reflex. Think of a circuit breaker that trips to stop damage right now. Evolve, on the other hand, is the long-term strategic improvement. It's going back and figuring out why the circuit tripped and fixing the root cause so it never happens again. One keeps you stable today, the other makes you better for tomorrow. So far, we've really been talking about operating just one agent. But the real power, the real future, is when you scale up to an entire ecosystem of specialized agents that can all work together. We're moving from a single lone hero to a whole team of specialists. Because this is the problem that every big organization runs into. The analytics team builds an amazing forecasting agent, the support team builds a great service agent, but they're stuck in their own little silos. They can't communicate, which forces every other team to reinvent the wheel over and over. The solution here is standardization. And there are two key protocols you need to know. There's MCP, which is for simple, stateless tools. It's like a direct command. Do this one specific thing, like fetching the weather. Then there's A2A, which is for complex, stateful agents. It's more like a request. Achieve this complex goal, like analyzing customer churn and creating a new strategy. This auto repair shop analogy from the source material makes the difference crystal clear. A customer makes a high-level request to the shop manager agent using A2A. My car is rattling. The manager then delegates to a specialized mechanic agent, also using A2A. But to actually do its job, the mechanic uses MCP to call specific tools, like scan vehicle codes. You see? A2A for the high-level goal, MCP is for the specific actions. All right, so let's tie all of this together. We've gone all the way from pre-production security to in-production operations to building a whole collaborative ecosystem. This entire discipline, this whole way of thinking, is what we call AgentOps. So here's the entire lifecycle in one place. You start in pre-production, automating trust with those gated pipelines. Once you're live, you move into the in-production phase, where you're constantly in that observe, act, evolve loop. And finally, you build out your ecosystem using protocols like A2A to let your agents collaborate and scale effectively. So, what should you do next? If you're just starting out on this journey, just focus on the fundamentals. The most important thing you can do is build your first evaluation dataset and get a simple CI/CD pipeline going. But if you're already scaling, your mission is different. You need to automate that feedback loop. Turn those production insights into deployed improvements as fast as you possibly can. And this is the thought I really want to leave you with. The future here isn't about building one single super smart agent. It's about orchestrating entire systems of specialized agents that can learn and collaborate with one another. So the real question for every team in this space is, are your operations ready for that future?